Characterization! Hello every pony, I'm MasterCode, your ace analyst, and with Nightmare Night coming soon, I figured why not take a look at the episode that introduced the fans to said holiday, Luna Eclipsed. I will say, Nightmare Night is one of my favorite times of the year. The horror movies, the decorations, and just the general atmosphere of scary and creative stuff. So this episode was right up my alley. Right off the bat, you feel immersed in the celebration of the event, seeing Ponyville decorated from top to bottom in spoopy decorations, lights and candles everywhere, pumpkins and carnival games littering the streets, and of course, the costumes. It is so much fun to see every pony dressing for the occasion with a wide variety of costumes from Dash as a Shadow Bolt, Shark Butt Pony, Chicken Pie, Spike as a dragon, and the most adorable pirate of all time, Pipsqueak. Every pony's having a fun time. Okay, they're having a little too much fun on that slow carriage ride. And we got all the fun and shenanigans associated with the night, like Rainbow Dash pranking every pony, ponies acting all spooky.
Nightmare Moon!
Mostly. And Pinkie instigating scares amongst the kids, which I'll come back to later. So I like how Nightmare Night doesn't have the traditional Halloween philosophy and creates something that's still keeping within the spirit but has a unique spin on it.
Fill up her belly with a treat or two, so she won't return to come eat you!
Everyone, let's dump some candy and get out of here!
That's right, kids. Better collect all that candy or you'll die. Okay, so here's my question. I get that it's all just a fun little activity for the kiddies and making light of an evil entity that plagued Equestria years ago, but what happens to the candy that's left at the statue? The kids leave all this food as tribute in front of a Nightmare Moon statue, and what? It's just left there to be eaten by the local wildlife? Talk about waste of money. Or does Zecora return the day after and steal all the candy for herself? Anyway, moving on. This episode marks the first appearance of Luna since the pilot in season 1, so I was really interested to see what the writers would do with her. Though I want to bring up a common criticism others have brought up with Luna's characterization here, that being Luna's mannerism of speaking in old world talk. Some have criticized why Luna isn't more up-to-date on modern Equestria, and why Celestia wouldn't help her own sister acclimate and ease her into talking more normal. Well, I can understand that to some degree, as it is kind of a stretch that Luna wouldn't control her Cantalot voice, being that some time has passed since she was saved. As for her problems acclimating to modern times and the gimmick of her confusion about social cues of modern Equestria, I think comes off pretty organic. Obviously, she is a mare from a more refined period of language and lexicon. Plus, well, being banished on the moon for 1,000 years will also affect you, and I imagine even after the celebration in Ponyville, she was still probably messed up after the ordeal and took a while to recover mentally. Along with that, her sister is realistically the only one who's had contact with her. And in the first 2 seasons, show's continuity of actual seasons was kind of backwards, like how Fall with Her Friends came 2 episodes after winter wrap-up, so who really knows how long it's been. Luna's arrival is the first scene that establishes how out of touch she is. Obviously, a tall alicorn yelling at you would be terrifying. I too would be disturbed if some pony was yelling at me. Judge, you receive a new chainsaw and hockey mask! Oh, whoops. Judge? Anyway, and the fact that she doesn't pick up on every pony's distress does seem obvious to the audience, but it's just her delivery. Even though she's yelling, she just wishes peace and happiness and perceives every pony's contention as just rudeness. Not knowing how society is nowadays, so I really didn't have a problem here. The scene also gives us some insight on how Luna wants to improve this event.
Together we shall change this dreadful celebration into a bright and glorious feast!
She knows that her crimes of the past cannot be forgotten, which they shouldn't, and sees this whole holiday as old-fashioned, dumbing down her corruption into an evil mare by turning the tragic event into a lighthearted farce with the whole candy offering thing to Nightmare Moon. And rather than just drop or forget Nightmare Moon, Luna wants this to be more of a elated celebration, glorifying her return, overcoming Nightmare Moon, instead of just glorifying the evil mare. Moving on, back to the episode actual, and oh look, Luna's sitting in the shadows of her former self. But in all seriousness, this is one of the best scenes. Luna is all alone, admittedly of her own doing, a shadow of herself staring at her face, a constant reminder of the guilt from all she's done. Then Twilight arrives, and she's the first pony other than her sister who she can really connect with. She's dressed as a figure from Luna's time, is knowledgeable about old Equestria, she doesn't recoil in fear, and along with that, she's the only one who's willing to help her out. But not before a pretty funny exchange.
It was thou who unleashed the powers of harmony upon us and took away our dark powers. We could not be happier. Is that not clear?
Loud noises!
The humor in this episode is fantastic and honestly one of its best elements. All the awkward verbal exchanges between Luna and the various ponies she comes across is hilarious, and there's even some great slapstick as well.
How is this?
Perfect, lesson over.
Along with watching Luna attempt to acclimate with ponies in town just makes this episode so much fun to watch.
Not enough fun for you? What say you to this? Huzzah! How many points do I receive?
Now, let's talk about the biggest point of contention others have brought up, that being Pinkie Pie. Admittedly, it is a similar problem from Swarm of the Century, where Pinkie is asking for various instruments and doing all these weird things, making every pony think she's just wasting time and not taking the Parasprite Swarm seriously. Here, Pinkie is initiating all the kids to get scared along with her every time she encounters Luna, and then she reveals she's just acting scared for fun near the end of the episode. It would have been more annoying had it not been set up. In the beginning, when Rainbow Dash first scares Pinkie with lightning, the kids were surprised, but not really frightened until Pinkie ran off. Then they in turn ran off screaming. The same thing happens at every encounter, so while it is a little annoying dragging the audience and the plot like that, it didn't really kill my enjoyment of the story. And the moral itself is a good one too. Offering friendship to one another, even in an unconventional way, can lead to them offering friendship to others and in turn discover something new about themselves. Simple but good. And that was Luna Eclipsed, and it's one of my favorite episodes of the season. I love the atmosphere with the decorations and costumes. I love the humor, the character development for Luna, and overall just enjoying an entertaining and fun episode. Well, that's it for today, guys. Until next time, and see ya!